I could go last.
So my name's Elena Graham.
Hi, my name is Ryan Davis.
Hi, my name is Corey Dobbs Shackelford.
Hi, my name is Jacob Mitchell.
Hi, my name is Jordan Quarterman. We will be discussing Revival Season by Monica West.
Start off.
Okay, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, well, I guess like, what are some like key things that kind of like stood out to y'all about the story, um, as far as like religion or any of the little social context things?
So I guess with religion, of course, the whole thing is about them going on this religious revival trip to Georgia. And in the story, they talk about these really strict things that were sins that normal people would, well, some people of other religions or people who aren't as religious as them would do. Like doubting God, it was a sin. Vanity was a sin. That's why she got in trouble for painting her nails and stuff like that. And then, like, for socially, it was really the men who had the healing powers in the story. And they really pushed the women aside and didn't really pay them attention. For example, when they first met Davenport at the church, he didn't even really say anything to the wife and the children other than the son, Caleb, and the husband.
Yeah, when I read it, I thought that part was really weird because like in today's society, I've mostly heard that women have healing power. So I was like, that's a little off to me. I feel like when like if this story was true, like when that would have been the thing where it was men, it would have been like way back in the day, like before slavery time, when like girls were getting like once they turn 12, once they start their menstrual cycles, then that's when they become a woman. But then at the same time, like men they were in charge of everything, so to speak, and women just had to sit there and take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the story too, they try to keep it a secret from the women too. Like when the main girl when her father like got caught for like I guess trying to expose her or something. He got caught for talking about the healing powers.
Mhm. Yeah, the main thing, like Corey said, the main thing that stood out to me was like the men like coming together kind of thing. That was weird because we're not used to seeing those kind of things now.
Yeah.
And it's like the women were like in the shadow. Well, not really in the shadow, but just like some of them were like sheltered or put away. It was mostly like the men. Yeah, that stood out to me too.
I know
Mm-hmm.
is when they first got to Georgia, um when they was sitting down having lunch or dinner, whatever it was, the Reverend Davenport pulled the dad away from the family, and then when the Miriam tried
Mm.
to, trying to listen in on their conversation, got caught. Reverend Davenport was like curious much, like she was not like in a way where she was not supposed to be doing what she was doing, because like it's not as a not her place to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like he was, I guess, downplaying really how, I guess her as a girl, like thinking like, oh, because you're a woman, you don't need to listen into what we're doing and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like putting her down, or in a sense, trying to put her in her own place.
I think
Yeah.
that could kind of fall into like the historical piece, kind of, because it's like that's back then and then now. Well, like us comparing the two. So like back, I guess back then or whenever that was going on with them, how different it is from now. So that could be like historical.
Yeah.
And
And
some
oh, go ahead.
No, I was about to say cultural too. Earlier, what you said about like how vanity was a sin and doubt and stuff.
Hmm. And I feel like the whole thing with the men and women, that shows like how people like cherry pick what they want to follow in the Bible. Because like in the
Yes.
Bible, about how like men are these strong leaders, but also your wife is your partner, she's your equal. Yeah, you treat her like she's your child. So
Right.
it's
I agree with that too.
Honestly, not even like she's your child, because the men back then, they did not take care of the children. All they did was work. So basically, they just treating the mom or the women like they're just another person in a house.
right.
Um,
And them.
conceive and give birth.
Yep, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then another thing that makes this another like to see it from the history aspect. Back then, like religion was like the way of everything. Like everything you do has something to do with religion. But today they had to come up with a whole law with the to divide church and state because religion
Mhm.
is that powerful. And now today it's like religion and then law. But at the same time it's like they're still both powerful.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like to me, it's like back then they really prioritized everything religiously rather than the law.
Mhm.
Like it's really putting that.
Yeah, it's almost like back then they went hand in hand. Like that's
Yeah.
like
It's
I
like
would
it's like if you weren't living by the Bible or something like
mhm,
that, then you were just they would
disobeying
just
the
kick
law.
you out.
Right.
Mhm.
It
I
was
wouldn't even say they
then,
was
but
and though. Like they was really it's either Christian or you die. Like that was literally it. Like in the other text that I read, it was talking about like life before slavery, and it was like they had indentured servants, or like if they did have slavery, it was people who did not want to convert over to Christianity. So like it was you had that part too.
Mhm. Yeah, I read that one too. That was the wrong thing, but yeah. What about like social or political, or yeah, I think anything else falls into those.
political. mm,
Yeah, I don't think we have much political. We do have
Yeah.
historical, religious, cultural, social kind of.
Yeah.
Anything else y'all think besides those ones that she listed?
Mm, no. But I could say another thing that stood out to me was when they were having that private conversation and she kind of got in trouble for like listening in. They were talking about like getting people to church to like get more money. And I feel like that also talks about the concept of like a lot of people thinking church is really just based on like giving false promises just to make money. So yeah.
Do y'all think that he was ashamed of Hannah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really was.
because throughout the book he would just complaining anytime Hannah like was just doing something or messing up, he would just be on her case just all the time.
Yeah.
I
Because
kind of realized. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I
Oh no, I was just gonna say I kind of realized that they when Miriam was like the last thing he usually says to the pastors before he goes and do the revival or whatever is introduce Hannah and tell like what's wrong and stuff. I kind of figured that he was ashamed of her. That's what stood out to me too as well.
yeah. I think that Hannah was just a reminder of him because he was a healer, but he couldn't heal his own child. Like you're healing people in different states and everything, but you can't heal your own child. And I feel like to him, he probably felt like he was a failure and that he really wasn't a healer or maybe something. So yeah.
What got me about that part is when he tried to blame Hannah having cerebral palsy on her mom not having enough faith, and it
Yeah.
don't like I understand got faith, but science is also a thing. Well, I don't think they understood science, because at that point in time it was either faith or science, and they didn't want science. But now you just got to put two and two together, because if God didn't want you to know about science, he wouldn't have gave it to you.
Right. To them, I don't think it was no science. It was faith, faith, faith. So they probably didn't even think about, like, that's not why, she's sick or whatever. That's just like what it is. It's not because of really nothing that you've done for real.
Right.
That's just,
And then, no offense to the male community, but they always quick to blame the woman when without knowing science, it really be their fault. Not trying to point the blame at nobody, but like if you pay attention in biology class, most birth defects or anything really come from men.
Yeah, or genetics. So it's really like
genetics.
It could be both running together. So she could have had something, he could have, and it's just
right.
Science, basically.
Yeah. Did we go over all the topics? I think except
we went through historical, social, political. We didn't really have nothing for that. We did cultural. We was talking about, like, the sins and stuff, and then religious. That was basically the whole thing.
A little bit when I talked about the separation between church and state.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's true. We did. Well, we did. And we even talked about, like, the cerebral palsy. That was like extra stuff though.
Yeah. Oh, also, I was thinking about like how they only travel to southern states to do it, and I feel like in the South, people are or tend to be more religious than they are in northern states. Mm-hmm. Only because I feel like going back to slavery, religion was such a big thing, and
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and they were really.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, you going?
No, sorry.
And like bouncing off from that, they were really like I felt like that whole chapter felt like it was really focusing on faith. Like it really focused on how Miriam was really trying to understand what faith meant and who God was and how he worked. I know there's like this one section where she was like thinking about something about God and the flesh of the spirit. It's one part of that chapter, but it really stuck out to me. She was really trying to understand how God worked and how he did all these things.
I think with that, I feel like she was trying to understand how like other people saw how God worked, because individually we all see God as a different person. We all have our different own relationship with God. If you're religious, like the way I talk to God might not be the way you talk to God, but that's my relationship with God. It's just like relationship with people. I might talk to you like we're all buddy, but when I go talk to this person, it's 100% professional. You know what I mean? So it's like it depends on the person with God. So I feel like she was trying to understand, instead of having that personal relationship with God, she was trying to understand and understand someone else's relationship with God and be like, oh, this is just what's supposed to be.
Right.
Also, I guess going back on the cultural aspect, kind of how Miriam, I feel like Miriam really plays a mother role to Hannah. And I kind of see that a lot in the Black community where, we got to take care of everybody else but ourselves. Or if you're like a child that's in a big family and you may be the oldest child, you got to take care of all your younger siblings. And I think it's kind of, in a sense, it's kind of like unfair, but it's just kind of something that's always been known or to happen, especially in the Black community.
Right.
Like I've had multiple friends who's like, oh, I got to take care of my sister, or I got to take care of my brother, or mom's out of town, so we got to fend for ourselves. You know what I mean? But it's like some parents don't know how to parent, and just like some teachers don't know how to teach, some parents don't know how to parent. You can't just assume like the parent knows what they're doing. just it parenting comes naturally, but that doesn't give them an excuse to do what they did because you she had 3 children. By some point she should have realized like what she was doing wrong and what she was doing right. And obviously neglecting the child with the physical and mental disability was not the move to make. And
Right.
I don't know how other people feel about that. That's how I see it in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if anything, she should have paid even more attention to her and her needs because of that.
And especially with the dad, he see that he's embarrassed of her, but he's not trying to help her out. That didn't make no
Right.
sense. Like, I understand you try with your healing powers, but did you get someone else to try? You're keeping her hidden from
Right.
society and from everybody else, but you're not giving her the help she needs.
Yeah, even if it's not him helping her, because it could be someone else. If he wasn't acting like he was so ashamed of her and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I think he just really wants the ideal of having a perfect family, even though there's one part of his family where it's not perfect. So he kind of goes out of his way to tell others about this imperfection.
In the long run, he's still making his family unperfect by like treating treating the way he sees Hannah, treating the way he treats Hannah, and then having his other kids look at that. First of all, you're supposed to be an example for your son, so your son is gonna grow up like you, thinking like you, and you invite your son to all these conversations, so because he's a man, because he's a male and he fits in, and then when they're still watching, and then the way you treat somebody else can determine the relationship that you have with a different person, because people go people go off of first impressions, or like if they've been living with you long enough they still gonna go off of who you are as a person, because you can't just be like, oh, I'm a nice person, and then turn around and be mean to somebody that has some type of physical or mental disability. That's not being a nice person. That's just being really disrespectful, like, because y'all understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially since that's your own child. So it's just like, yeah. So is that everything?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now to see. I think so.
I'm gonna go back through some notes.
That's, well, that's all I got.
Me too.
Same.
Right. Well, that's all the questions we got. Then guess we'll stop it.